KATU presents a rebroadcast of Channel 2 News at 11.
You're watching KATU Channel 2 Portland. Now, in the spirit of the Northwest, this is Channel 2 News.
A last-minute appeal has been denied, and word could come at any time now that John Wayne Gacy has been put to death. Good evening, I'm Jeff Gianola. Julie Emery is off tonight. More than 100 people gathered outside the prison in Joliet, Illinois tonight. A few carried candles to show their objection to the death penalty. Most didn't object to his execution by lethal injection. Some even wore T-shirts mocking one of his former professions, a clown. They remember 1978 when the bodies of 33 young men and boys were found under Gacy's house. 15-year-old Rob Peast was his final victim. Tonight, his father says this is the day he's been waiting for.
Be relief. I'll be able to sleep a night completely through. I don't have to worry about him.
Porter Jim Rosenfield is in Joliet, Illinois, awaiting official word of Gacy's death. Let's switch there now.
Any minute now, we're expecting prison officials to emerge to announce that this 15-year odyssey is finally over for John Gacy and over for the victims' relatives. 33 young men and boys found buried beneath John Gacy's suburban Chicago home, found elsewhere on his property, and also some of them in a nearby river. Earlier today, John Gacy's attorneys gave up any hope of any last-minute appeal or any stay. The U.S. Supreme Court denying that request earlier today. John Gacy's lawyers told us about an hour and a half ago that it was over for their client. Again, at this hour, we can presume that John Gacy has been given a lethal injection, ending the life of one of America's most notorious serial killers. Reporting live near Joliet, Illinois, Jim Rosenfield for ABC News.
Okay, thanks, Jim. And once again, when we get the official word, we will let you know, but we can now presume that John Wayne Gacy is dead tonight. In other news, the desperate search for a young Oregon boy ends sadly tonight. Rescuers spent the past 2 days in an area about 45 miles east of Eugene near the McKenzie Bridge. They searched around the clock for 3-year-old Garth Romero, pictured here with his mother. Late tonight, a plane spotted his body in a nearby creek. The young boy apparently wandered into the river and became trapped by some logs. Well, American Indians fought for it, but apparently didn't take advantage of their first day of fishing at Willamette Falls. Earlier in the day, they built platforms that'll be used to fish for spring Chinook salmon. But not much fishing was done today. They told us the sun made it too bright so the fish could actually see their nets. Today opened the first Indian fishing season at the falls in 54 years as part of a compromise reached after the Columbia was closed because of poor salmon runs on that river. And a drastic plan to save those salmon runs could end up costing all of us money. The National Marine Fisheries Service is recommending dams along the Columbia and Snake Rivers increase their spills. Now, that would increase the number of salmon that survive their migration. It would also cut electric revenues. If revenues fall far enough, Northwest power rates could go up. It is now Tuesday morning in South Africa, and Nelson Mandela will take the oath of office to become president in just a few hours. In a history-making move today, Nelson Mandela and F.W. de Klerk walked into Parliament together for the very first time. It became official. Mandela declared the victor in the all-recent all-race elections. Outside, an emotional celebration as tens of thousands of people welcome the ANC chief to power. Dignitaries from around the world are arriving for tomorrow's inauguration. Among them, Vice President and Mrs. Gore and the First Lady, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Be sure to turn in at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Channel 2 News will be talking to Oregon Congresswoman Elizabeth First, live from South Africa. First is a South African native and is back home for the first time in years. In Haiti, they're taking a wait-and-see attitude tonight about President Clinton's latest promise. Boats sit idly by despite the president's recent promise that refugees would be allowed to apply for political asylum. Most Haitians are too afraid to set sail for America. They say President Clinton has broken too many promises already, so they'd rather remain skeptical and stay on their island nation. Well, frightening moments for an Oregon woman who was in Los Angeles trying to save her baby's life. Lori Putnam has arrived back home. For the last 3 months, she's lived in L.A. seeking medical help for her 9-month-old daughter, Cheyenne. Cheyenne suffers from a severe immune disorder. But yesterday, Lori almost lost her life. While in a Los Angeles store buying gifts for nurses who cared for her baby, a robber entered, held a gun to her chest, stealing her purse. It contained important medical papers for her baby. Police quickly responded.
The only thing I ever knew about the police, you know, that I'd heard from up here is, of course, that Rodney King story, and I just thought that they were brutal and very selfish, and it wasn't at all what had happened.
Well, the incident scared the family. Lori and Cheyenne are back in Portland tonight at Dornbecker's Children's Hospital. And that notorious Rodney King beating case is back in the news tonight. A judge dismissed former police chief Daryl Gates as a defendant in King's civil suit. He said bad management and permitting racism in the department doesn't make Gates responsible for King's beating. And the judge also dismissed 4 other officers from the case. They were bystanders. A new hotel is coming to Portland, but you'll recognize the building. The Plaza Fifth Avenue building is vacant now. Remember, it used to be the old Frederick and Nelson building until that store folded a few years ago. But things are changing thanks to a San Francisco development company. By the summer of 1995, you'll see a 184-room hotel, restaurant, and parking garage in that downtown block. Times are changing. Still to come tonight here on Channel 2, Portland police wait for a thief to turn over the evidence. They say he swallowed it. And what's it really take to scare someone? Stephen King is the master, but there's a local author who's found his own secret. You'll want to hear his ideas next.
And tomorrow morning, the sun will be eclipsed by the moon, and we'll get a shadow. You'll have to watch closely, like right now, but there will be a solar shadow cast over our part of the world. I'll have details on where it'll be best viewing and how to view it coming up a little later in weather.
Tomorrow morning at 6, you can see us on radio as Channel 2 News goes remote.
We'll visit with the former Channel 2 sports anchor live from KFXX and KGON.
Dependability. That's what built this land, lad. It's sons depending on sons, brothers depending on sisters, birds depending on bees, and a whole lot of you are depending on U.S. West. Because U.S. West was born out of this great land of ours. So we made it our business to be, well, dependable. And dependable's having a service that works, no matter which U.S. West service you have. We're simply a real person with answers on the end of the line. Oh, give me a home where the dependable people roam, and I'll show you one dependable phone. And just think about this. U.S. West is about to bring you more dependable stuff than you can shake a stick at. Because all you dependable people in the Midwest, Northwest, Southwest, and all Wests in between are, well, depending on us, U.S. West.
I'm very thankful for Walmart, Cedar Works, and the opportunity to live in this beautiful area.
Walmart's Buy America philosophy has made the difference in Adams County. We have 225 jobs because we keep building, keep adding, due to Walmart.
They've given a lot of people in this area jobs, and this area really needs jobs.
When you got a product like we put out, we can compete with anybody.
Bringing it home sure helps our hometown. When I see Walmart trucks rolling down the road, I know that they're carrying American products.
Doc, I'm really worried about my fat intake. How can I lower my cholesterol level? I don't know.
If only kids cared about what they ate as much as you do. Well, they don't. That's why there's Lightly 97 hot dogs from Hormel, with only 1 gram of fat and 1 great taste. So, until kids care about what they eat.
Well, I gotta do something about this root.